Retailers certainly are being audited, and primarily for the sales tax transactions. I have clients that are in manufacturing and distribution. CDTFA is looking at the incidence of when the taxation occurs. So when a distributor is selling to the retailer, they're looking at the excise taxes. They're also looking at cultivation tax. Seems like a real area of review that is fraught with difficulty. And everybody's passing the tax down the line, but the CDTFA will look to see when the COA, when the certificate of analysis was done, where the packaging was done, and they'll hang the tax on the individual that completed those items. So yeah, there's a lot of pitfalls. And I would also caution too that it's not just the state and local audits that are going on. The localities are hiring companies such as HDL to conduct tax audits as well. So I would feel for the cannabis retailer or distributor, they're getting hit from all angles. And I'd probably say the same about cultivation companies. So I had a client, or actually we're at the tail end of the audit. They got reviewed, and the CDTFA looked at their Metrc filings, I think probably for about mid-2019 onward, because I think that's when the best Metrc really comes into focus. And they reconciled the Metrc to what was reported by my client, and that became a part of the audit review, in that if they see that the Metrc is properly reconciling to what we're reporting, they have that comfort level to know or to believe, and the auditor can write in his working papers that I've reviewed the period from January 2019 to December 2020, found no errors. Based upon that review, it's my determination that prior periods are fine, and then we just move the audit. That is why the Metrc system is going to just be so critical. It's a tool in the auditor's toolbox. It's a third-party verification of an activity, and that is golden when you're performing audits. I am seeing sales tax calculations that are inaccurate up and down retailers and delivery companies. So let me take the retailers first. There's software other than the quality that Meadow produces, and they'll send the rep down there to set up the software, okay? And part of their setup is they get everything ready for the calculation of sales tax. And what they forget to do is check that excise tax, separately stated, as well as separately stated local tax, needs to be part of the equation before the sales tax calculation is made. So remember, we're talking a 15% excise tax that's billed to the consumer, and oftentimes up to 5-10% on a local tax. So think about having 20% of your bill on sales tax being inaccurate. And then you go 3 years down the road and the CDTFA says you've undercollected sales tax because you haven't put these two component parts in your equation. The CDTFA is going to look to you, not your customer, because the customer is long gone. They're going to say any understatement of taxes, we're going to look at you, the retailer, and we're going to collect from that. The other real problem that I see all the time is the local tax calculation on sales tax for the delivery charges. They might have an area where high tax areas, San Francisco, I don't know, is probably 10.5% by now, right? But their system is set up to charge sales tax at 9% because they think that's the average amount that their retail customers charge. I mean, some are lower, some are higher, but if we charge 9%, we're golden, right? We should have enough money. The tax board will look at that and say, well, for what you've undercollected, you owe. What you've overcollected, we'll keep. There is no average. There is no average. They're going to look to you and they're going to say, well, that's excess tax reimbursement for everything that you charged over. I would also caution the retailers out there on the calculation of excise tax. Let's say they have a product they paid $10 for. The excise tax on that should be $2.70, right? 27% of the wholesale cost. If the CDTFA finds that they're charging $3 and they're just including it in the retail sale price, but it's part of your calculation, CDTFA will come back and say, you've got excess tax reimbursement on that excise. We want the total. We don't want what you remit. We want the whole part. So it's really critical to understand what your internal billing system is doing and what type of liability it's placing you into. I've seen some really bad softwares out there. Here's the frustration, and I feel it in the industry, is the tax burden is incredible. And the successful cannabis companies are those that can deal with their taxation. I know it's weird that that's a primary reasoning of success. It's not how good your weed is. It's not how, but can you carry the burden of taxation long enough for your product to find its niche in the retail market? Crazy stuff.